fair enough. I'll accept that. I'll accept that. For all intents and purposes, all I'm hoping for is a good best-of-3 series, 2-1 to someone, and I'm happy. But in that note, do you reckon we're going to see any surprising picks, or do you reckon there's going to be any hidden tricks up their sleeves for the finals?
I know there are.
So we should be in for one hell of a show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the draft. Let's get this underway.
Nota has few ideas, and at every point, after every game, he tells me like, "Oh yeah, I was considering picking him, but then the team was like, no, let's hold off for the finals."
Well, they've got that little black book of Nota's plays, don't they? I believe he also mentioned something to me about ward locations in there.
Yeah. He's been doing some research on the opposing teams, and that's...
Good captain always does his research.
Yeah. It's an important part.
On that note, let's swing into the game and see what we've got
That's really very, very expected, Lycan and Brew.
Well, with Lycan and Brew banned out, we're potentially leaving the Doom in for the first pick. We actually didn't see a Doom in the last
I think the Doom goes out.
You think the Doom's going to be banned out?
Yeah.
Even though that could potentially leave, and we know
Spyrath probably gets left in. Yeah, I think so.
We know Venividivici like the Enigma.
I don't think Venividivici is going to take the Skywrath either.
Well, they're going to ban out the Nature's Prophet, which targeted at Trixie specifically.
Now, Finstack is going to ban out Doom because they don't want to give Sona Doom.
That's a fair jump, I guess.
At least, I know that's what Venividivici is expecting them to do.
Indeed, and we're missing the audio in game at the moment for some reason, but we should be getting that fixed as soon as possible. But you expect we're going to see a Doom ban? Where do we go with the first pick then? Do we see the first pick Shadow Shaman? Do we see the first pick? Where are we going with the first pick? Because this is a very difficult one. Both of these teams...
That's the question, though.
Yeah.
Like, I know what they're expecting. I don't know precisely how they're...
There's our game set.
I think they want to be a bit more aggressive than we've seen from them. And, I don't mean just Matuman going ham in the mid-game. I mean actually playing aggressive on the lanes. Because I think that's part of what they've been discussing at the Doom.
And there goes the Doom. Took them some time to think about it, maybe worried about what could be left in.
Yeah.
Both of these teams are fairly versatile in their drafts. They're not locked into one style, and that's something I like about these teams. Sure, we tend to see, to see Razor, usually in the hands of Fraggy on the side of Finstack whenever they've played. I believe he's only played Razor throughout this entire tournament.
Is he really?
I believe so. I believe
it's close to
it's close to at least 100%.
Skywrath, yeah. The Skywrath is so obvious for Finstack. Every time it's available, they pick it up.
Well, they do a lot of work with it, and I can understand in the hands of Suklamuno and Jerax how powerful that hero can be, especially when it's paired up with potentially the Earthshaker. Again, a hero we have seen very often, and Jerax has been playing this Earthshaker and doing a lot of work with it. So it's a completely understandable pick from the drafting.
Yeah. At this point, they could pick up the Faceless Void. I think that's what they're considering.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, if they go with the Faceless Void, that's going to be most likely in the hands of Fraggy, but it's instead going to be a Death Prophet of Rexy. And this will be the second time we've seen it played by the Finstack in this tournament.
Yeah. It doesn't really reveal much yet. I mean, they want to push, but they're unlikely to go all-out push. They sort of just use it for a mid-game death ball, and that's sort of what we expected from them anyway.
Yeah, well, we have seen how effective it is in the hands of Rexy. He can put out some ferocious levels of damage with the levels of farms he got. We saw a very, very rapid Ewel's and I believe Bloodstone from him before. Was it a Bloodstone? It was either a Bloodstone or a BKB.
Bloodstone, I think, yeah.
I think it was the Bloodstone. But it certainly shows he can get the farm, he can get the items that he
pretty much flat out wants. Ewel's Bloodstone.
Yeah. And that's going to be a tide from Venividivici, so they're going to go for that team fight control to go up with this Razor. And we're seeing quick bannings. They don't want the Earthshaker in the hands of Finstack, and understandably so. The power of that support combo, as we have mentioned time and time again, is incredibly formidable.
I think this is going to be almost all support bans right now. The Enigma, Rasta is... Tinker, of course, yeah. Fair enough.
I can understand the Tinker. We've seen what Matuberman can do with it, and I don't really want to chance it. Of course, the Venomancer is another target to ban at Trixie, since we've seen the offlane Venomancer. But now this gives Finstack the option. Do Finstack ban the Enigma? If Finstack ban the Enigma, that's one of the heroes that VC love to play and can run within pretty much any kind of lineup. Or do they ban something more targeted towards the Razor in terms of support? What would you ban? The Shadow Shaman, possibly. He is still in there.
Yeah, the easy answer would be to just ban Enigma because they like it. On the other hand, you pretty much know exactly what they're going to do with that Enigma. So if you give it away and you know how to deal with that, it weakens your lanes a bit, so you can be a bit more aggressive, and they do like the aggressive Roman. Yeah, okay.
Well, they're going to ban out the Faceless Void. Again, a very worthwhile ban, especially with that Razor, since you can static link someone for the entire duration of the chrono and come out with a fairly large amount of right click, and then with Tide combined onto that, it can set up for some fierce team fight.
I don't think Venividovic you want to avoid, though.
No.
I mean, I think they prefer him in the offlane position, and the Tide is already going for the offlane.
I would completely agree with you there. I mean, Tide guaranteed offlane. I'm not sure with the Void ban. Clearly, Finstack knows something that we don't, and I can understand that. However, Centaur Warrunner will be the pickup for Finstack. That's Trixie's. This is going to be the second time in the tournament we've seen him play the Centaur. Yep. And previously it was in a tri-lane scenario. He had two supports with him, and they were very
effective offensive tri-lane,
Yeah, and he played it like a one-roll Centaur, in all honesty. He was greedy, he farmed and just went for kills. Then again, it's Trixie, so I'm not surprised. It's something I've come to expect out of Trixie in this tournament, and hell, we expect it out of Trixie in all games.
Yeah.
But is it going to be supported again, or is he going to be in this offlane solo scenario?
5 seconds remaining.
Well, the Skywrath Mage can work with him. Against Shadow Demon, though? I don't know, maybe.
I don't see it being a very wise one to put like a 3v3 with the Shadow Demon involved, since the Shadow Demon will just disrupt someone defensively and protect or aggressively and go for the kill.
Could be Witch Doctor or Dazzle.
I expect to see a Witch Doctor, personally.
Yeah.
Witch Doctor would disrupt them a little bit more, and then you've got Death Ward on top, and Death Ward has that power to punch through Centaur Warner, to punch through the Skywrath Mage and his pitiful HP pool.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a... I think Nota prefers the Witch Doctor. I would prefer the Dazzle, but yeah. And I think they're going to try and draft an offensive tri-lane for that.
That would then mean the Tide is going to be in a impossible 1v1 scenario with the Centaur, or in a 1v versus 3 with they tri-lane the Centaur again.
I think it's, safe lane Tide.
Well, with a safe lane Tide, aggressive tri-lanes with Shadow Demon. Kunkka does come to mind, and we have seen Kunkka in this tournament, but with the Rubik picked up to try to counter this and steal from the Tide, might deter it. Or not. There's going to be the Kunkka. Kunkka Shadow Demon. The combo is there once more. Is this a support Kunkka, though, or is this the core Kunkka? Because we saw it as a support last time round, and it was in the hands of Jerax.
Yeah, the Finstack ran it in their last game.
And they did it to great effect as well. Finstack have not dropped a game in this entire tournament. Then again, nor have Venividovic. So at the end of this one, someone's going to have lost something. They'll at least have a loss to their name. But going into this one, where do you go with the final picks and the final bans? Finstack need to think, okay, we need to ban a core hero that can run in a tri-lane with a...
They need a fraggy hero for Finstack, and... I don't know.
A fraggy hero for Finstack? Honestly, what crops to mind right now, with the Void banned out... I wouldn't be opposed to, say, a Spectre.
The Ember Spirit is actually a good choice. Yeah. I've heard that Fraggy actually likes that hero. So.
Yeah, I suppose it's also one of the more flashy heroes, so he can be a little more aggressive. But Fraggy, to me, he's the type that likes to sit back and farm. So
yeah, he's not that aggressive.
The two that come into mind then for Fraggy in this one is a Morphling or a Spectre. Both of those would fit very well here.
I don't quite expect those.
10 seconds remaining.
A Morphling maybe. A Spectre is a long shot.
Spectre's a long shot, but the only reason I raise it is the ability to purge away the buff.
Actually, this could be Trixie Weaver.
Trixie Weaver? So core Centaur on...
Yeah.
Okay. Core Centaur possibly from Fraggy. But then again,
it can go either way.
Either way, as we say. Final pick for Venti VC. I'm wondering if we're going to see, I think you and me both have something in mind that we know they want to run at some point. But are we going to see it?
It could work in this
game. With this lineup, it does fit.
5
Yeah.
seconds remaining.
And we're not saying what it is for obvious reasons, but
I think, yeah.
Reserve time.
They're thinking about it, certainly. They're giving a lot of thought to it.
It is possible here. The problem is, what does the Shadow Demon and Kunkka do? Well, okay, so the pick that's in question. It's for you. Meepo.
Ruined my fun.
Meepo could work. It's Matumaman's one of his better heroes. Finstack doesn't have a lot that deals with it. They don't really have anything that deals with it.
Exactly, which is why I think it could be possible in this game. You
the Skywrath Mage can burst down one of them, but if you move all into the ultimate, it doesn't really do that much.
It will effectively tickle at that point.
Yeah, and he has a higher than normal, I think it's 35% magic resistance.
Yes, he does. Yeah. He has an increased magic resistance by 10%.
And yeah.
But they needed to do something to compensate for the fact that if any of them die, they all die. And to be fair, that's a reasonable balance change.
Come on, Nota, it's not that hard of a decision.
He's certainly giving it plenty of thought. I mean, what would, if they didn't go for the Meepo, what would they go for?
Well, I think a lot of the heroes that we've seen out of him, right, have been banned out.
5 seconds
but
remaining.
Honestly,
there it is. We get the Meepo.
Well, okay.
Finally, Matubaman's Meepo. I've been told that this is going to be special. I wanted to keep this a secret, but you went and let the cat out of the bag. God damn it, Sun Tzu. We're in for some fun, at least. This should be a damn good game, and I'm wondering how effective this Meepo is going to be. If he gets the early levels, if he maintains the level advantage, we've seen what a Meepo can do. Usually, however, it's at the hands of No Tail or Sing Sing. Matubaman, we've seen he likes flashy heroes. We've seen he likes micro and control. Let's see if he can do it again, this time on a Meepo. But on that note, let's introduce the teams. We've got Suklis or Suklamuna on the Skywrath Mage. We've got Fraggy on the Weaver, Jerax on the Rubik, Rexy on the Death Prophet, and finally Trixie. He's going by the name Callie in this tournament, but Trixie on the Centaur Warrunner. On the flip side of this coin, and they are going to smoke, so we'll come back to this. On the flip side of this coin, we have Valix on the Razor. We have a solo mid Matubaman on the Meepo, which could plan out very well, actually, thinking about it. And we've got a Nota on Shadow Demon, Thompson on the Kunkka, and finally, to round this off, Sohn on the Tidehunter. And this is potentially going to be, I should think, dual lane Kunkka SD, or no, they're just setting up to support and try to gank, and they'll leave the lane to the Tide, surely. Equally, though, with this Meepo, what are your expectations? I think you know how they play this a little better than I do, Sun Tzu.
30 seconds to battle.
I expect, well,
other than carnage and death.
I don't actually know if he prescribes to the No-Tail school of Meepo or the Excalibur school of Meepo. And the difference there is, of course, that No-Tail is more in your face. He goes for the early Brink Dagger. And Excalibur, on the other hand, he goes for the early Manta and just out farms you, out pushes you. Just, it's a very safe and stable way. And of those two, Matumaman feels more like he'd probably go towards the No-Tail school.
Yeah, we've seen how aggressive Matubaman likes to be, so this would not surprise me in the slightest. And well, he's going to have a decent block going into this mid lane, and we're going to give good focus to this mid lane, considering it is a Meepo and it is a little more unusual to see. But this matchup in question, Matubaman's Meepo versus Rexy's Death Prophet, that I feel isn't exactly favourable towards the Meepo in terms of hero matchup.
Well, no, but he just needs the early levels, and once he starts to have those Meepos up,
indeed,
you control the runes, you control everything.
Suklis is more than well aware that the Kunkka Shadow Demon combo is lurking nearby, and they want to try to avoid getting jumped by those two. And as we discussed when Finstack were playing the Kunkka Shadow Demon, it is pretty much a requirement for this pair of roaming supports to get kills. If they don't get kills, it's very painful, and they're going to disrupt. apparently they go for it either way, and the sentry's going to drop. This should be enough to bring down Fraggy, but he's too fast. He's going to be well enough away. But then again, Suguchi has a very long cooldown at level 1. A couple of right clicks could spell the end here, but Fraggy's going to start to salve up, and he should be safe. He's going to Suguchi through again, and that should be the end of this level of aggression from the Kunquan Shadow Demon for now. Then again, of course, Tide is here to get levels, and he's going to have, in all honesty, pick of the litter. He's going to, in my mind, be fine up here. He's going to get the point up in Kraken Shell, we already have, and now he's going to go Anchor Smash. And in all honesty, I can see him not dying up there, at least not without a rotation through from the Death Prophet. But Death Prophet is more of a farming role mid-hero. She's going to want to get those items up, those levels up, and then start shredding towers.
We've already got a second smoke here, or like a smoke from...
Thompson got revealed, so there's certainly someone nearby, and Jerax knows about this. Also, in comes Suklis, so they want to try to get a kill off this, but they're going to go for Nota. A couple of more Arcane Bolts, and that could spell his death, but in comes a Torrent. Is it going to connect? It's going to hit onto Suklis, but Jerax is still alive and kicking. A couple more Arcane Bolts. He's going to disrupt himself. They need to get in. They need to stop Nota dying here, but no, this is going to be First Blood. There's no way to stop this. First Blood goes the way of Jerax. Nota falls.
And a bit of BM, all chat.
Then again,
yeah.
I will point out that these two teams know each other fairly well. They recently met in one form or another in the Finnish Dota League, I believe.
Yeah, and Finstack came out on top of that one, but even before that, there's a lot of history here.
Yeah, there is, but these players know each other, well, they know each other incredibly well, and you consider the fact that Trixie and Rexy have been playing together for a very long time. You told me something on the line of, what, 5 years, if not more?
More.
Probably more than that.
It's been various games. Before Trixie broke through in Han, they were actually almost on the brink of breakthrough in Dota 1. They had a team called 8 Ball, and actually Fraggy, I think he was on that as well. I'm not 100%.
Fair enough. I can completely understand that. And if they played that much back in Dota 1, then yeah, they seriously have the experience to back up their gameplay.
Yeah.
But are they going to be able to hold out against Vendor VC in this one? I mean, based on these drafts, I haven't asked you where's your money on for this game and this draft.
I like the Meepo. I think again, Matumaman has a hero that's absolutely capable of winning this game, and again, his opponent has very little control him.
Indeed,
so
very true. I mean, Rexy can't really do anything if
he has his fate in his own hands, and yeah, it's just a question of, is that back strong enough to carry the game once again?
Indeed, and we can see already we've got many points coming up into Poof, so he's looking for that burst damage. And if Rexy gets caught by the Earthbind, then it's still going to be very, very rough to bring her down. She's got no points in silence right now, so there's going to just be a Poof on top of that, and it's going to be incredibly painful, for lack of a better word. Equally, though, when that silence comes up, the Earthbind's going to go off, and then they're just going to silence the Meepo, and it's going to be fine. Then again, in comes the attempt on Trixie. The disruption was used, but now potentially looking for more. Double Edge is going to be there. Nota in a bad way, actually, but now we get the telekinesis thrown back on Thompson, and one more right click will spell the death of Nota there. He tries to tango through, but doesn't manage to get out in time. Then now in comes Valak. Are they going to be able to get into else? No, they aren't, and that's going to be a disengage from the Finstack. They get in, they get out. They're playing more defensive than I usually would have expected out of these guys.
I don't know, the Venividivici sports, they look a bit... Their coordination is a bit off, and they look a bit tired, maybe. I mean, they had a very grueling
first game
2
today,
games,
yes.
yeah.
The first game today for BVV was a 60-minute slaughter-fest. That was a complete slobber knocker of a game.
So, yeah, they failed to connect on that top gank, and this one, the timing was off. It's hurting them a lot right now.
Indeed, and it raises the question of
they're actually both only level 2, and Suklamuna is 4 and Jerax 3 already, so they're falling behind.
Say these supports need kills. Quickly. But I will raise the question of this: we go on about timing pushes and the timings for teams that have previously played in the tournament. What is the timing that BVV want? What is the minute mark that they want to be looking? Okay, we want to fight, we want to push.
I think the Meepo comes around 20 minutes. You have everything you need to actually have an impact. It depends a bit on the build as well, on the skill or the item build.
Well, we've got a poor man's up for him right now, and he's just continuing to bottle crow to maintain control to get those early levels.
Power treads and.
Yeah. So is it going to be a case of do we see the blink dagger, or are we going
this is sort of the point where it either becomes the blink dagger or the manta or.
Well, manta's an option, blink dagger's an option. Aghanim's rush, not so much an option.
The Aghanim's rush is not that common these days.
It used to happen fairly often, especially from Notal actually, and now we got a Torrent trying to connect on to Trixie, and now they're going to try for the kill, but this is still a very tanky central. But Valix is stealing a good amount of damage right now, plus 105, but he can't risk going forward under that level of pressure. He's forced away at 300 HP. There's nothing he can do there. And hell, he's forced even further defensive since in comes
from the
Rexy.
backing. Oh.
This is a 4-man rotation. Thompson's going to be caught out, and Valix is in potentially a very bad way. Disruption's going to go up, but they lose the Shadow Demon. They lose the Kunkka as well, and now they're going to lose the Razor.
That's
not a trade you want. They're going to get a counter kill at least on a Skywrath Mage, but there's nothing that can be done to stop this. They're going to try to finish it off, and the Eidolstorm's doing a fair amount, but it will be a trade. Not what I honestly expected. Nota did come in to get the extra hit there, so he does pick up the 254 gold.
And he shot up to level 4, so.
Indeed, he did. He honestly needed that. But
he got almost 2 levels out of that.
It felt like they were playing Ring Around a Rosie a bit, just leaving the kill for Trixie. I think they could have just helped him out, and someone else got the kill, but he could have then got out of there alive. At least in my honest opinion of that one.
Yeah. I mean, they were very precise to begin with, but they just overstayed a bit.
Indeed.
And it's the danger that they have, the problem that they have as team. Sometimes they just dive a bit too much.
Well, that's we say Finstack and aggression. That's pretty much what we expect, and the regen rune will actually get denied by Suklis, which is going to deny the Meepo the excessive refill of his bottle. But he'll just bottle crow it now, and that'll be completely fine. What else can we see coming up across this map then? For the items-wise, we already have that full Aquila for Valix, and most of an Aquila for Fraggy actually, so nothing really major right there, just treads coming up across the board, getting the early stats up, a couple of wands, nothing major, and we'll take a look at the graphs around the 15-minute mark so we can see the story of the game then. But in the meantime, we do have all-important levels coming online. We've got level 6 up on the Razor, level 9 on the Meepo, and he's going to be rapidly hitting that level 11. In fact, this is going to get him a good chunk of the way to 11 with these last 3 creeps. And when he gets 11, that's 3 Meepos. That's 3 levels of 3 sets of poof, and well, that's when the magic damage starts to become overwhelmingly strong, at least in the early game for the Meepo.
Rexy's starting up on that Yules.
Indeed.
He's already a good amount on his way.
Yeah, he needs about 800 left before that full Yules is finished. But levels-wise, we've also got Ravage available, Exorcism is up, Time-Lapse, of course, and most importantly for Finstack, in my mind, Stampede. Speaking of Stampede, here we go. They're going to look for Valix, and they're going to engage on him. Bot lane, double edge, and that should be his death. There we go. But now can Trixie get out alive? Zone's going to gush him, slowed up, but are they going to be able to catch up in time? They need the Earthbind from a Tuberman. There's the disruption. That's going to pretty much ensure the death, and that goes the way of the Tide Hunter.
Okay.
And that is level 10 up for the Meepo, so he does have the 3 levels up now.
Meanwhile, Fraggy is farming. He's got a Midas.
Well, this does not surprise me. It's Fraggy, of course, and, well, we refer to him as Mr. PvE with good reason. He has the highest CS on the board in the majority of games that we've seen him play.
Well, not this game.
Not in this game, however.
You're not gonna top a Meepo. Come on.
Yeah, you're not gonna top the Meepo. The Meepo is currently 75.
And he gets the Blink Dagger as well, so that means he's gonna be wanting to be a lot more aggressive, a lot earlier.
School of no tail, it seems, Meepo.
Yeah.
And well, we want to fight them. We're looking for fights, and if the Meepo cannot get fights and cannot make this Blink Dagger pay off in the early game, it's an investment that can come back to haunt him. It's going to be an interesting one how this game evolves into the mid game. But still, this is a 10-minute Blink Dagger. It is very early. It's very quick, and it's what we needed to see out of the Meepo.
Yeah, and it allows you to burst down a lot of these heroes. I think actually, when C9 ran the Meepo against VG Gaming, I think VG Gaming actually had the Death Prophet as well, and it's actually part of why I like that lineup, because it allows you to burst down the Death Prophet very effectively.
Well, bursting down the Death Prophet is pretty much required. If she stays up in a fight for far too long, she stays up in a fight, she'll do far too much damage, and then she'll just regen it all with that exorcism. It's one of the most worrying things. But one thing that I do find curious from Rexy is he opts for no point in silence up until level 10. Whereas a single point in silence can be the difference between life and death to him, considering the Meepo is there with the Earthbind.
No, but he wants just the movement speed from Witchcraft.
Not just the movement speed, I suppose it does reduce the cooldown of the Crypt Swarm, more ghosts from the Exorcism, but a single point in silence.
It's more like it's safety and movement speed.
Fair enough. I still feel a single value point in silence could be worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, he got it now, so no worries.
Yeah, level 10 is finally here. He does have his silence. I feel much better, but still.
Yeah.
We do have that full Yules available, and of course we do have the Rubik present with level 6 now, so he did Spell Steal and get Plasma Field. Only a level 2 Plasma Field though, because of the builds that we have available for Varlix. He's gone for the 1 point into Unstable Current, and he's opted for mainly Static Link, and that's completely understandable. He'll go for the Damage Steal and try to just team fight back after taking
Trixie is actually really close to his Blink Dagger now.
Trixie even.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Trixie has that Blink Dagger up, it's going to be quite scary. He worries me when he does that in the jungle.
Come on.
We joke about Trixie occasionally with Trixie feed. He doesn't want to level up and start feeding neutrals, does he?
Nah.
Yeah. In the meantime, we do have the supports lurking nearby on the bottom lane. They're looking to catch anyone who comes forward, and primary target right there. And if they can find Suklis, this is going to be quite scary. Hell, it's going to be very worthwhile for these supports. And considering we still don't have Boat online, it worries me. It actually worries me greatly.
No dice.
And they reveal themselves now. They needed Nota to come out first there and hit the disruption before the Kunkka revealed himself. And we do get a Blink Dagger now available for the Centaur as well. So Finstack get their all-important item, and they're going to use it straight away to take out Sohn. You're not going to make me miss a kill on that one, Trixie. God damn it. Trixie's over-aggression can be a pain to keep track of at times. In the meantime, though, Blink Daggers are starting to come up and become available, and Rexy is going to start pushing this mid lane and try to get some damage on the tower with the Exorcism. We haven't taken a look at the Meepo in a few minutes, though. Meepo does have 1,800 gold in the bank. They're going to look to try to go onto Rexy, possibly, but under the Exorcism, that's a very risky prospect. And here we go, the Blink Dagger's there, but he yields himself up to safety, and in comes Trixie. Hits the stun. Varlix is here as well, though. They need to burn down Rexy before they go to do too much damage, and they do so, but now they catch Suklis off guard as well, and they force Finstack back. Can they re-engage? They technically could, but they don't have enough mana for a Hoof Stomp right now. And in comes Fraggy, trying to do some damage, trying to force this back with the Swarm, but I don't feel like it's going to be enough. And we do have Torrent stolen by the Rubik as well, so another stun added to the plethora of Finstack, temporarily for now.
Yeah, that's the first showing of what the Meepo can do in this game. And like, even though Rexy gets off the Yules, he still dies.
Indeed.
And the tower was actually denied, so...
The damage from the Meepo can be overwhelming in the other games so often. I mean, especially when you consider the Meepo, he can hit level 16 faster than any other hero in the game if he splits up his Meepos and farms multiple points of the jungle at the same point in multiple lanes. And he's certainly doing that. You've got Matubaman, the main Meepo is in the jungle. The other two are dealing with the Mud Golems, because who likes Mud Golems? No one likes Mud Golems. Means you can't poof them either. But on the top lane, you got Fraggy with the DD rune, and he's continuing to try to exert pressure, and he does have a Midas, of course, so he's going to look to try to keep up in terms of net worth with that Meepo. Speaking of net worth, Meepo leading the score at 7,500 net worth, and you've got Death Prophet and Weaver in second and third position, just about 5,000 each. Meantime, bot lane, you do get the combination from the Stampede and from Jerax and Suklamunis, and they will find themselves a Razor. Equally, though, we do have Sohn. Did he TP out? Yeah, he expended Ravage and TP'd out. I guess that was from Fraggy, even though in the mid lane. We get fights everywhere. Good God, guys. And we lose the Death Prophet for Finstack. Equally, however, that was a kill picked up by the Kunkka, which is going to help him out. He has his boat now, which is all important. The buff from that, we cannot stress how powerful that buff actually is. 50% damage reduction, then you take that 50% over time as non-lethal damage. You can walk away from so many fights just because of that boat alone.
It's worth noting that the Razor goes for the drums, and it's sort of part of this idea that we're going to give space. The Meepo is going to be the main thing for our lineup, Even though the Tide picks up the mech, I'm still not going to go for the straight Aghanims. I'm going to be a support, be a more utility hero for this game.
And pings are actually going out from Matumaman for Roshan at this point. I believe that was Matumaman that pinged it. Then again, we have a smoke popped here by Finstack. If they can get something off the back of this smoke with the Blink Dagger and the Mystic Flare, it's going to be quite scary for VVV, since Finstack are picking up those kills, and we're at the 16-minute mark. We'll take a quick look at the graphs in this this little gap in the action. Finstack, they've only got a gold lead of less than 500. That's how close this game is. It's the closest game we've had so far in the whole tournament. Experience-wise, it's about 1,500 in favour of VC, but that is only because of the Meepo.
Yeah. And honestly, you need more against this Meepo right now. Like, if the two come to blows, I expect the Meepo to win the game for Vinny Vidivici, or win the fight. The game's a far cry off still, but.
Indeed. And we have 30 seconds on Ravage as well, so that could potentially be the time we see the next team fight when Ravage comes back online. Matumaman is continuing to climb up. He's rapidly approaching that level 16. Hell, he'll get that in 1,600 experience. Once we have that online, we're going to be looking for more power out of the Meepo. Then again, I believe Meepo gets his next rank at ult at 17 instead of 16. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
correct.
I believe it's 3, 10, 17 instead of 6, 11, 16.
And he's got almost the Aghanims now.
Yeah, which is going to add even more damage to him. This is becoming very scary and out of control very quickly, and you can see the net worth. And hell, let's bring up his gold per minute, shall we? So we can actually see how effective this is. When we find gold per minute, 501 gold per minute on this Meepo. That's scary this early in the game. That is beyond scary this early in the game. But can the Meepo play off?
Action up top. Fraggy, what are you going to do?
I think he's just going to hide back. He doesn't really want to risk getting initiated on, and I completely understand that. They have the Ravage available now, so this is potential for nuking down Fraggy, but Fraggy does have time lapse. He has that Midas available, and he's got some level of acceleration on his own due to that Midas. You can see though the pings coming from Jerax telling him to hold back. They want to engage as a united front. Then again, they don't know about the fact that Meepo is here, as well as Nota on the sidelines. Thompson has been pinged out, so they do know about the Kunkka at least. And where the Kunkka is, they can probably guess the Shadow Demon is present, but still.
Well, to say that you don't know about the Meepo being there, you have to expect the Meepo to be everywhere.
True, and we do have an invis on that Meepo as well.
It's just the nature of the hero.
But we're 18 minutes in, and now we've got that Death Ball start to come online. They're going to start looking to take towers, and well, sentries down as well, so it's going to reveal the invis if it comes forward. But now we get the Suguchi Aware attempt to, and he's going to time that threat. Still hits, and now we get the Ravage. That's going to be a very dead Weaver. And Trixie comes in, but Trixie can't survive his burst either. And Matumaman, he's going to split the entire damage of the Mystic Flare and survive. They need to finish off the Meepo, and they manage to do so with Rex coming in the back lines. Now you've got Nota. He drops the Purge onto Rex to try to keep Thompson alive, but Thompson cannot stand the damage. And Rex is on a double. We're going to look for Valix. Will cancel out the TP with that Yule Scepter and go for a third. That's a double kill for Fraggy, double kill for Rexy, and a 4-man wipe in favour of the Finstack. 4-for-2 trade.
A very good quick buyback from Fraggy there.
Indeed, he needed to get back in that fight, in all honesty. And he did a fair chunk of damage on his own back.
Yep.
But it raises the question. How much of an impact has that 4-man wipe made? Has it given them enough space to start pushing towers on their own? They used the exorcism for that, so they don't have that for 70 seconds. They can't push off the back of this, really.
No, they're a ways off before they can really capitalize on that. And before that, the Meepo is back up, and he's going to split push it out again. So
I'd be in complete agreement with that. And if we take a look at Suklamuna, let's take a quick look at actually items across the board, considering we have the Aghanims and Blink Dagger available for the Meepo. And from there, what do we look for next on him? Potentially the Heart, do you think?
Or for whom? The Meepo.
Yeah, for the Meepo. Tank
the
him up
Heart
a bit more and
is
split the
probably more standard. If you're going for this build, you
Purge
probably
actually
don't go
into Manta. They could potentially look for a kill here, but it's going to be very rough. Thompson needs to get a good stun, and he's not going to find that, especially with Rexy backing him up. Then again, if we go back to a quick look at the items, Valix, that could be a BKB, or we could be seeing early Aghanims coming out of the Razor, which could equally spell death to all the towers in the game. From there on, you really have the mechanism on the Tidehunter, who really wants a Blink Dagger to his name. Other than that, what do you think is going to be coming up next for the Finstack, Sun Tzu?
Well, Rexy's got his heart coming. That's pretty obvious. Fraggy needs the BKB, and good on him. Trixie, the obvious cloak. It's pretty standard. The Sokoless is gonna want to go for the Force Staff.
And now we get the boat combo coming in, and Jerax is just going to melt under this tower. But the tower will still go down at this rate. Was it denied? No, it wasn't. And they throw the Purge onto Rexy. But Rexy can turn around and fight among the best of them with that exorcism up. Just a little bit of trade of blows right now. It did force the buyback out of the Rubik, and they're going to come in and try to get a kill on the Razor, and manage to do so, who was trying to split pushing in his tower. Tower's actually in deny range, and that's one denied tower per team right now.
Dire's bottom tower.
Yeah, it was just the Meepo and the Razor there, and they essentially forced the whole team to rotate down there.
Well, the Meepo got the hell out of dodge and wisely evacuated. Equally though, that's another
and
tier 1 going the way of
that's the more important one anyway, so even if the Razor dies, yeah, you can live with it.
Very true. I mean, if the Meepo dies and starts losing the level advantage, that's the biggest problem. Matuberman must maintain that level advantage. It's oh so important in this game. And speaking of Matuberman, we have no new items on him. I thought his HP jumped there, but we can see the potential rotation around now. He does have almost that level 17. He's only about 20 experience off, and now he's got all 5 Meepos available with their Aghanims up. And if we look around the map, it raises the question, where's the next objective going to be pushed? Where are VVV going to go? Where can they actually fight the Finstack without risk of dying?
I don't think they need to fight yet.
You think they should just keep farming up, even though the Meepo is now approaching his peak in terms of the initial items, at least?
Radiant's bottom tower is
He's got the ultimate orb now, so that might actually be the Manta next.
Okay, so if we're looking for a Manta, that's going to be 2 more Meepos to...
either that or the Scythe of Vice. It's not a bad item either.
Scythe of Vice I would actually quite like to see. It would give them a way of stopping Rexy in the tracks. Then again, speaking of Rexy in his tracks, he's going to Yule's up and avoid the X multiple spots, so the boat is wasted on this one, and it's going to force a fallback from VVV. They can't afford to risk engaging when the boat is whiffed like that. Then again, the boat is such a short cooldown, it doesn't matter all too much. It's only about 50-second cooldown, so no big worries there. But now with the potential trade going on the mid lane, another tier 1, they want to finish off the final tier 1 in the game. I feel like they can do this without much stress. Then again, they do get the Earthbind on Rexy, and now they catch the Superman, but he does get defensive disrupted, and in comes the Ravage. Now they're going to come in with all the other Meepos and try to burst down the rest of the team. Suklamunis goes down, Rexy goes down to the Meepo. They get the tower as well, and now you get Fraggy trading blows with the Razor. He's going to be forced to fall back, and in comes the Meepo. A couple more right clicks will spell his doom, and the triple kill for that Meepo. This is Roshan territory, right next to the pit. In my mind, yeah, pigs go. They want that Roshan. And just look at the sheer damage potential coming out of Matuberman. And the thing that got the kill there was clearly the Geostrike. Geostrike that is underestimated so heavily. It stacks for each Meepo that hits, and it really does tick for high amounts of damage.
Yeah, Finstack can't even buy back and come into the pit right now because Beaver has his on cooldown.
So this is going to be quite easily an Aegis for Matuberman, and with that, how long is it before we see the siege on these tier 2s begin? Because with that Aegis, they can start to really force these fights and try to shove the aggression down the throat of the Finstack.
I think that comes down to, well, you want to probably complete up the Manta, presumable Manta.
I can see that, yeah.
The Razor has his BKB, so in terms of the Razor, you're good to go. So, yeah.
I still feel that the Razor could get the Aghanims, of course. I mean, the BKB is going to help keep him alive in these fights, but with an Aghanims up on that Razor, the towers will just melt. There is no other word for it. And it should be the next choice. And we've got Shadow Poison being stolen out by Rubik.
It's actually going to be the Sheepstick.
Sheepstick
no,
for the Meepo?
Wait. Not at all.
No, it's a Skadi. Interesting choice. Sure, the stats are going to be very nice across all the Meepos with their Aghanims change, but I don't think the Skadi effect propagates to the other Meepos, does it?
I have no idea, actually. I have no idea.
Off the top of my head, the Skadi effect will only stay on the main Meepo, but Geostrike
probably.
Plus the Skadi is going to slow someone down to 100 movement speed.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you a lot of stats as well.
Unfortunately, Valix does BKB a little bit far into that, but it does force back the rotation. Look at that damage coming out of Valix. The Rubik melts.
No longer a free kill.
No longer a free kill. Mystic Flare isn't that scary to Valix anymore with that BKB.
Yeah.
And off the back of that, it seems like we have a rotation, 5-man rotation down towards this bottom lane from Vendividavisi, and they want this tier 2 on the bottom lane, and they're going to blink in. They look for the Earthbind, don't quite catch it. That could have been a very big kill, but this tower is just melting. Look how much damage this Meepo is doing alone.
Yeah,
this is before a Razor has an Aghanim.
Give it up and, you know, try to defend from the high ground.
A very big tower going towards the Meepo right there. Yeah. How much gold does this Meepo have right now? He's got the full Skadi, for Christ's sake. This is a very damn rich Meepo. Look at the net worth on him. Nearly 15,000 with 1,000 in reserve.
Yeah.
Surely it's a heart next.
Well, you could also... You could upgrade to the Boots of Travel.
True, you could upgrade to the Boots of Travel. I mean, at this point, he's got 2,600 health on that Meepo. That is absurd. The I'm wondering, it's a 100% stats exchange with the Aghanims, I believe. So all the other Meepos should equally have the same amount of HP, and they actually have a bit less. Yeah, they have about 300 less health. But that aside, it's still very strong in favor of Matubaman and the rest of Vendividavisi at this point in the game.
Yeah, there's no way the Finstack can defend these outer towers. They need more.
Oh, and Jerax get caught out. They can get the courier. They didn't quite steal the courier, but Jerax will eventually go down to the Kunkka with one more right click. And what else can they find coming in? Fraggy needs to be very careful, but the pings are going out. They're chasing that courier. They actually get the courier. I believe Geostrike slowed the courier there. But that aside, tower's going down, and that courier was only carrying a single branch. So why was that courier called out?
Who knows? Sometimes you just want to feed a courier. Sometimes you see a Meepo and you look at him like, only 15k, 16k now.
In the meantime, now we get the initiation. Down comes the Ravage. Trixie tried to come in, but it's nowhere near enough. Matubaman, he's just going to town on this entire team. They're going to go for the boat as well. Are they going to be able to catch Rexy? No, they're not, but it doesn't matter. He's going to yours himself up. That's pretty much a target right now for the Meepo. Doesn't have another one ready to go. He doesn't care. He's just going to micro the low HP Meepo away, and they're going to keep going for the racks. Objective gaming, this is what they needed to do. Not diving for the kills that they don't need at this point. Kills mean nothing. The racks means everything, and now they're going to re-engage onto Jerax possibly. Do they find the ability to come back in? Meepo will die, but this is only the Aegis, of course. They're going to come back in. I equally hear a Mystic Flare on the back, but they managed to bring down the Shadow Demon, but, well, Suklis not going to survive much longer than that. That's going to be a very, very dead Skywrath Mage.
They can pretty much just... There's... What's the comeback at this point? The Weaver has no damage. The Weaver has no damage.
Well, they shut down Fraggy, and Fraggy was forced to go for the BKB just because of the threat of the Meepo, which is, sure, the right choice, but BKB in this case is a game-losing item, because the Weaver can do nothing. Now, in comes Trixie, he does drop the Stomp, but this is going to go so horribly wrong for him. He's just going to get picked apart by this Meepo. This is Meepo at work. Rexy eats the boat as well. That's going to be a double kill going the way of Thompson, and another set of racks going the way of Vendividavisi. And GG is called game 1 to VVV. Finally Finstack lose a game.
Radiant victory.
Meepo.
That's all you can say. Just shrug and Meepo.
Meepo.
We were waiting for this pick the whole tournament, really. And
the problem with Meepo is that you can counter him heavily if you know it's coming.
Yeah.
But if you are not prepared for it, if there are too many other options that he could go for, you end up with one of these drafts and it does nothing to the Meepo.
Indeed.
There's just, yeah.
Well, this is, of course, the first game in a best of 3, so there will be another game in, I should think, starting about 5 to 10 minutes. So
I have to say, I'm liking Noda's drafts today. I mean,
yeah, they are on the ball, really.
Yeah. He seems to get that slight upper hand in every one of these games. And even when his team feels like trying to help along the opposing team a bit, it's still, the draft is just...
Tries to help along the opposing team. That's a very diplomatic way of saying it's Trixie. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we shall be back in a few minutes' time after the break, and we'll be in with game number 2 between Vendividavisi versus the Finstack. Game number 2 between Vendividavisi and Finstack. And, well, after that game 1, do we expect another Meepo, Sunzu?
I doubt it. I think there's going to be something else coming out, but the storyline so far has been that it's Matumbaman who ends up winning these games because he ends up on heroes that there's simply nothing to counter him.
Yeah, I would agree with that one.
And I don't know, they have to find some way to deal with him. Be that they just ban out every single hero that he runs.
Well, that's one route.
But then, well, can you actually ban out every single hero that he runs? And
if you target all the bans of that, then you're going to let things like Doom through or the Shadow Shaman through, even the Lycans. They're not careful. I mean, you can't target everything at Matumbaman.
I'm pretty sure he actually plays Lycan, so you'd have to.
I see. So that's going to make it even a bit more difficult. But before we go into the game, we've been joined by the trophies that the teams are playing for, as well as one thing to point out: the first place prize is 2,500 euros.
Yep.
Second place do get 1,300 euros. So there is a lot at stake here, and it currently is match point to Vendi Vidi VC. Let's see if they can take it 2-0, shall we?
Yeah, and Doom, Lycan tied out already. It's pretty standard. Finstack have the first pick, so see what they want.
Let's go into the draft on
is
the.
Is it going to be the Skywrath again, though? Like
10 seconds remaining.
They keep on taking that Skywrath.
I should think Skywrath, if they're happy fighting against it, they'll leave it well enough alone. I doubt they're going to ban the Skywrath, and as you can see, the Doom is banned, Tide is banned, as well as the Lycan, and they're more threatened by Trixie, and I can completely understand that. Trixie's nature's profit. I believe you've said it, I've said it, hell, Bruno and Draskell have said it before. One of the scariest things to fight, his profit. It's up there with Bulldogs. In fact, it's probably better than Bulldogs at times. It
depends. They play slightly different styles of it.
Yeah, very true.
Okay, this is the Brewmaster, and now we're going to look out for the Venomancer as a second pick, I think.
You think we're going to see the off-lane Venomancer once more?
Yeah, Brewmaster and Venomancer is something that they've run in the past.
We actually saw it in the first game we ever saw Finstack play in this tournament up against Garage Boys.
Yep.
Radiant team pick.
And right now we've got the Skywrath Amaze presence once again. That's going to be for Nota, and combined up with that Razor, which will most likely be in the hands of Valix.
Yeah.
But you think we're going to see the Venomancer? We're going to see the off-lane split push Max Ward's Venomancer?
Yeah, exactly. And, well, the question is, like, as Finstack, you have to be thinking right now that the only reason they're letting us have these two heroes is because they have something planned for this specific lineup, because they've seen us run it before. This is one of the core strategies that Finstack was running. So...
Well, if they pick up the Venomancer and they look for that heavy level of split push that comes from the off-lane, then I can see quite easily Vendi Vidi VC looking for something that can quite easily just shut that down. But how do you shut down the wards? Well, there's your Venomancer, you were right.
Yep.
What is a good way of clearing those wards very quickly? Any ideas?
It depends. Like, if it's just the wards, well, whatever. You can deal with that. But if they start adding on other minions, if they start adding on, like, well, the Enigma should be banned here.
10 seconds
I think both teams might like it, actually.
Yeah, it would work out for
the
both teams very well.
The Pugna is a good ban. Yeah. For this time, I actually like it because I could easily see them going into even more full-on push.
Well, the first time we saw Finstack run this, I believe it was Brewmaster, Venomancer, Shadow Shaman, Pugna, and Razor. Because they had the Razor on...
yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah, they had the Razor onto...
Fraggy.
Fraggy, yeah. And they're actually going to ban out the Tinker, so they're targeting Matumbaman's heroes, but still, the Meepo is there if they want to try running it again, but running it into these two may not be the wisest of ideas.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but it's a hard one to call, because once you get into the mid-game, if Brewmaster can come in with the Thunderclap that's going to do a good amount of AoE damage to slow down the Meepos, sure, they can then just cast Poof, but other damage, plus the DOT coming out, the major... damage over time is coming out of the Venomancer, mainly the Poison Nova. We saw earlier today, I think, no, yesterday, how strong that is in terms of a single ability. It was killing heroes in the fountain.
The Aghanim's Poison Nova does a fair amount to a Meepo even, but I mean, it's still not that dangerous.
Well, we do get the Earthshaker for Benevidi VC. Is this a denied pick, or are they picking this? Well, they're picking up to go with the Skywrath Mage as well. But
Yeah.
would Finstack have wanted that Earthshaker?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it was just. I mean, it stops a push pretty easily. Just a Fissure. It stalls the push, let's say, and. But yeah, the Shadow Shaman still in the pool. That's probably a better choice. Enigma is a better choice for Finstack. Invoker might be that last pick. But I think they might be willing to give Rexy the Invoker.
Reserve time.
Well, if they give Rexy the Invoker... Have we seen Rexy play Invoker in this one?
Yes.
Yes, we have. We saw him play it up against, I want to say, Seppo?
Dire team.
Yeah.
Seppo in the winner's
Yep.
bracket, yeah.
And they had Rubik then as well. And Jerax kept on throwing people out of the
Out of the
Sunstrikes.
Sunstrike. Yeah, I actually recall that. This is actually an Invoker lineup that could work here. But what would you pair up with this Rubik? You've got your Brewmaster, who can then go in safe lane or offlane. You've got Venomancer, who can technically take both as well. Then you have Rubik and something as a support and an Invoker in the middle lane.
Yeah, I mean,
10 seconds remaining.
if you get the Invoker, that I could see Trixie playing. Okay.
Radiant
Well, there's your
team
Matuberman
pick.
hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've seen him use that to great effect in the last game of
It's
the last
actually
best of
fairly decent here. There's nothing that really counters him.
three. Well, I suppose to
Yeah.
an extent Brewmaster putting him in the air with the Storm Panda, but that's about it.
Yeah, but that doesn't kill him.
No, it doesn't kill him. It's just going to delay him and buy
Yeah.
them time. But Ember Spirit will cleave down this Venomancer, stop this
10
Rubik in his
seconds
tracks.
remaining.
And, well, we've seen how Matuberman likes to play. He likes to be aggressive in their
5
face, in
seconds
places he
remaining.
doesn't, by all logic, belong. I think that's the best way to phrase it.
Reserve time.
There's no logic involved here. You're
That's a shame.
You're thinking of the wrong game right now. Dota is in the logic game right now.
This is just a flow with the game, is it?
It's run at the other person game.
I see.
Yeah.
Speaking of running after the other person, Centaur could be a pick here. Then again, we get wards instead. Shadow
Yeah.
Shaman.
Dire
The Shadow
team
Shaman is a
back.
very solid pick for them.
Well, Centaur is still an option here for Vidi VC. They could run it here. They've got Earth Spirit in the mid lane, safe lane the
I'm
Razor.
feeling the Invoker.
Fair
I'm
enough.
feeling the Invoker.
What, for
10
Finstack?
seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
I meant for Benny Vidi VC. They
Oh.
can pick up the Centaur Warrunner.
5
They need an
seconds
offlaner of some
remaining.
description. They're going to put Razor in the safe lane. Then you've got your roaming combo plus the the Ember Spirit in the mid.
Reserve time.
Doesn't do enough.
Doesn't do enough.
Does it? I'm not sure.
Blink on top of the Venomancer to be able to stun him, burst him, same for the Rubik. It's going to cause problems. And Shadow Shaman is, again, very squishy. These heroes are squishy, the exception of the Brewmaster.
Yeah, but then you could maybe go for a Clockwork instead.
True, very true. A Clockwork could work out here, and that does work
And
very well with a
Clockwork
Skywrath
is
Mage.
Clockwork is safer, I think. In a way.
Yes, I would agree. It's
So-
safer, and it works in very well in combination with that
Radiant
Skywrath.
team
Yeah.
Many of the VC are going to choose to ban the Viper, and I can completely understand why, considering you're basically running the Plague Ink strat with Venomancer and Viper.
Yeah. I don't know. The Viper,
10
it could have done
seconds remaining.
a decent amount of work.
5
The question
seconds
is, though,
remaining.
I mean, it has. If the Venomancer has to be Trixie because
Reserve time.
he
It's
plays
Trixie,
it.
it's his Venomancer.
That means the Brewmaster would have to be.
Rexy?
The question is, does Fraggy actually play Brewmaster? I mean,
And they're actually going to ban the
Dire
Centaur, so
team
they may have been thinking
Yeah.
what I was.
yeah,
on this
maybe. Yeah, the question is, what does Fraggy have left to run here?
Well, they could still pick up to go with a Shadow Shaman and a Rubik. Potential with push here. Dare I utter the word Juggernaut? Healing Ward would be very nice. Omni Slash can help
10
versus
seconds remaining.
the Earthshaker and the Skywrath.
I think Juggernaut is a trap
5
pick.
seconds remaining.
Juggernaut tends to be. He looks enticing on
Reserve
paper.
time.
Yeah, I've talked about it with like S4 way back, and like he was really convinced Juggernaut looked good, and Aghanim's Juggernaut. Oh my God, it does so much damage. but it loses games. It just doesn't do enough.
Fair enough, fair enough. I suppose the one of the stats that I can recall from Bruno was with a Juggernaut, he wins, I believe it's like 79% of games before the 30-minute mark if they can just push down towers.
Yeah.
Because of the healing ward, because of the strength. But he falls off quicker than most other heroes. After the 30-minute mark, that drops to less than 50% win rate.
I wonder for what patch that stat is, though, because...
That was from 6.78. Yeah, 6.78.
Okay, that...
A good while ago, and it's your Clockwork Goblin.
Yeah, that probably includes then the time when Armlet was bugged on Lone Druid, or was that fixed in 678 or 679?
I believe that was fixed in 679. I'd have to look it up to know for certain, but it's around that time.
But you know, when the Armlet actually worked on the Lone Druid, the strategy together with Juggernaut, he was essentially unkillable. The bear was unkillable. So.
Well, you do get your Clockwork Goblin, and that is going to pair up very nicely with that Skywrath Mage.
I like it.
Then you mix in potential damage from Earthshaker, Fissure, combos, and then you get Matuberman on the Ember Spirit. And that's before we count in what will be most likely Valix on that Razor, since I'm assuming it'll be Valix on Razor and Sown on the Clockwork Goblin.
Yeah.
At least that's my best guess.
Yeah, I absolutely agree about those. I'm just trying to figure out what I've seen Fraggy play that works with all of this.
Well, they need something that works early game, because if this goes excessively late, I don't see it working. We've said before, the Shadow Shaman is
I remember
hex
the first ever game I saw Fraggy play Dota 2, he actually played Queen of Pain.
I see.
A safe lane Queen of Pain.
Well, it's early game, but I don't think it would work against this, considering you've got the Ember Spirit with the Ember Guard and the 500 damage absorption.
Yeah, well, but what can you give him that actually helps against the Ember Spirit?
Something with a silence or Lifestealer. Lifestealer could technically pick up an Orchid in this one, actually. We've seen it before where they'll go Phase Drum Orchid, and a silence is what you need to deal with an Ember Spirit.
Yeah.
I was going to say Nortrim, the silencer, but Lifestealer can certainly work out here if he goes for the Orchid. They need an Orchid of some description now. But let's see who's playing what as we go into this game. We've got Matuberman once again reprising his role as the Ember Spirit. We've got Thompson and Nota once again playing the Earthshaker and the Skywrath Mage respectively. No surprises here. These two are at it again, and let's see if they can pick up the kills they did before as we get a little bit of banter between the players, and we get Valix heading towards the...
It started out so nice and civil, and then it went... Oh, God.
Well, what do we expect? But we get Valix heading towards potentially the mid lane with the Razor, and it'll be Sown on the off-lane Clockwork. On the flip side of this coin, however, we have what could be a 5-man rotation. Yeah, Sown needs to be careful. He drops the ward and is going to back up immediately. We've got Trixie on that Venomancer, Fraggy on the Lifestealer, Suklamuna or Sukis on the Shadow Shaman, Jerax on the Rubik, and finally that leaves Orexi on that Brewmaster. Now, looking at these drafts, where is your money? Because I feel in this one, Veni VDVC have a stark advantage in terms of their lineup.
Yeah, I prefer them as well. Well, they don't have anything great to deal with the Lifestealer, but then again, the Razor actually goes through his rage. The
static link goes through the rage, yeah. One of the best things about the Razor. Razor is a long time, in some respects, counter towards the Lifestealer.
So even while you can't really lock down the Lifestealer, you're going to have to be an exceptional Lifestealer to have full impact in this game. And I don't think even Trixie's teammate Era would really relish this game.
I can understand that, and off the top of my head, even if the Lifestealer infests, the damage will still be stolen. But that's something I'd have to check. But Rexy's going to be trading up with Valix in the meantime. In comes the support. They get the rotation. They bring Valix under the tower, and that's going to be a very easy first blood going the way of... Actually, no, that doesn't trigger the first blood. That was killed by the creep, wasn't it? So I believe first blood will just be split instead. We don't get the big first blood noise, though, which is slightly disappointing.
Aww.
Meantime, you've got Nota trading blows with Trixie, and Trixie not getting the best part of this, mainly because of the Arcane Bolt harass, and other than that, it should all be good. Sown's going to go up against this Lifestealer, and Lifestealer versus Clockwork, again, not a lane you want, personally. I feel that Finstack are going to have difficulty here if they cannot execute the early game correctly.
I mean, the Lifestealer is surprisingly strong in a lot of 1v1 situations.
Well, this is what they need to do. They got him caught in the cogs as well. I know you'll have Jerax rotating, and the telekinesis is there, but can Sohn escape this? Is he tanky enough? No, you've got the body blocking coming out of Jerax. Look at that go. A couple more right clicks would do it, but no! He's got... Fade Bolt. Okay. Last Fade Bolt, last second. Jerax, you scared me for a second.
It's good early rotations.
Yeah.
They need this.
I didn't expect Jerax to have that level 2 so quickly, but I suppose they did split the experience of that first kill in the mid lane.
Yep.
It's not that bad, so it's all good. And if Jerax can keep rotating and taking part in these kills, he's going to have a very early level 6 on his hands. And if you look at what Benefit VC have, they have plenty to steal of great impact here, mainly the Fisher.
Look at the last hits.
True, that is quite the stark lead there for Matuberman, and well, his supports are protecting him fairly heavily.
Let's not miss a single last hit.
Well, I believe in what is it in 10 minutes if you miss 0 last hits? Do you recall the exact number?
No.
The average 4 per creep wave. About, I think, 85, something along that vicinity.
Yeah, somewhere up there, yeah.
Because it counts catapults as well, so I should think about 85. The 2 catapults, maybe 82. Around there somewhere. But if he can get all of this CS with no contest, I mean, it's punishing Trixie here. He wants the experience, he wants to come forward, but every time he does, Nota is there to punish, and so is Thompson. And Thompson has a full mana complement, so he can hit these fishers. And with a 20, it's effectively a 19 for 9 CS on the Tuberman. This is going to be very worrying going into the mid game if they can't gank and stop this Ember Spirit. Equally though, we got Suklamuna stacking and pulling in the jungle, trying to get everything possible out of this and try to get some experience from here and give the levels over to Fraggy. But where is the Clockwork in this time?
He's
playing
around with a creep.
Yeah, he's pulled his creep wave back far behind the tier 1, which is going to help him get some levels. And he has got the, I'm going to point this out just for comedy's sake, it's the Dr. Robotnik mustache on the on the Clockwork Goblin. I do like that one.
Yeah. A bit of old school.
A bit of old school for those that love the old Sonic games, but still. Fraggy, for all intents and purposes, level 5, almost got his infest up off the back of that early kill.
There's a smoke up from
True, there is a smoke up from Thompson and Nota, and well, we were saying the Lifestealer, he's going to have a very good early game if he can keep up that kind of level of
And they run into another smoke.
Yeah, they run into another smoke. We got a case of ships clashing in the night, and this is going to be a static link. Well, not static link. This is going to be a shackles under a tower, and that should be the end of that. That's exactly what Rubik and the Shadow Shaman need to keep doing, catching them out and ideally bringing them under the tower every damn time. And Jerax and Suklamuna are going to start getting massive levels soon. Level 3 and level 3 respectively up against what is a level 3 and I should think a level 2? Yeah, a level 2 Nota. So slight experience advantage going the way of the Radiant supports for Finstack.
And they're not as far behind as they could have been, but...
No, they're not. It's still worrying, though, considering Matuberman is just going nuts in terms of last hits, and every time Nota comes forward to try to harass now, he's got to go through this pile of wards, and that's unpleasant, considering they're level 2 wards now, and they're only going to get worse from here.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned for this Clockwork, though. I mean, after giving up the first blood, or, well, whatever that was, he's actually being zoned out pretty effectively by Fraggy.
Matuberman, in the meantime, will take some harassments here and force back. Does he have his level 6 up yet? No, he doesn't. He's still level 4, so there's no chance of Remnant away. Those dots are actually taking him down fairly heavily, but he should be completely fine here. Yeah, he's fine, and now he's just going to be salved up, and he'll go back to farming now the supports have failed the kill. They'll probably rotate away, but they want to honestly think about coming back in and trying to kill this Ember Spirit as much as possible.
Yeah, I like this Orb of Venom from Fraggy. It helps control ups on him.
Indeed it does, and Orb of Venom, we've got the treads up on him, he's not gone for the phase. Are we going to see the Drum Orchid, or are we going to see something more conventional coming out of the Lifestealer, do you reckon?
I figure the Drum is pretty conventional either way.
The Drum is conventional, but the Orchid is not so much.
I would expect more the Race Car build myself.
Fair enough. I can understand that, and if it pays off into this game...
SNY and Drum.
SNY Drum, yeah, the full movement speed build. And if it pays off and he can get the farm and the kills, then the Lifestealer is going to become very scary. But this is a case of Lifestealer versus an Ember Spirit in terms of farm. And you can just see Matuberman, he comes forward and burns down 2 with little problem at all. Now he's going to look for Jerax. He doesn't have enough to get another Searing Chains, but did you see how easy that was for Matuberman?
Jerax cancelled, actually.
Jerax cancelled?
Rexy coming in.
In comes Rexy. Going to look for Thompson. He's not going to be able to find Matuberman that easily. They're going to drop the slow, but it's a haster, and they do not care. And one more right click is enough for Trixie to pick up. Rixie to pick up the Rexy to pick up the damn kill.
Yeah.
Rexy, Trixie, caster's nightmare. I swear it. In the meantime, let's see what we've got going across the board item-wise, shall we? We've got Tread starting to come up across a few heroes. We've got Phase Boots up for Matuberman on that Ember Spirit. I'm wondering if we're going to see a full Aquila on Valix. I mean, he's not done too well in the mid lane. He's 0-1 and 0. He's got 30 CS to his name, 31 CS to his name, and 10 denies. But still, he's going to have a very rough time when it comes to this mid game if he can't tank up a good amount. He needs at least, in my mind, either the mech or an early Ags. Otherwise, he's going to have so little HP and he's going to be so fragile. A BKB is another option, but again, you need more than just the BKB if you go that route.
Yeah. I'm actually a bit... I said Fraggy might be going for the race car build, but isn't that big phase?
Dire's middle tower is
Yeah,
under attack.
race car build is with phase,
So, does this mean Armlet, I suppose?
It could be Armlet, certainly. And still, Armlet, Orchid, early game items, they cost about the same, really, about maybe 1,000 gold difference at max.
Yeah.
But I still feel a silence is what they need to stop Matuberman in his tracks, because you can see he's now just pulling apart Rexy. He's going to get telekinesis done at the tower, but Remnant away, forcing a split. That's actually quite the big investment there that he just forced out. That's going to be 130 seconds where there's going to be no primal split available. That is a seriously good exchange there for Venti for the BC. In the meantime, though, Fraggy continuing to farm up, 1,000 gold. We'll keep an eye on him, because I want to honestly know what item he chooses for here. Both have merit, both have uses. One means you're slightly more fragile, but can lock down that pesky Ember, instead of letting him jump around like the madman that he is.
VVV is also coming back a lot in terms of... Oh yeah, one more kill.
Yeah, Matuberman will manage to bring down Brewmaster once more. And to be honest, I'm not surprised, but here comes the chase. Here comes the turnaround. Echo Slam on 2. Trixie gets burst down by that... wow, Trixie gets burst down by the Earthshaker, but Earthshaker will eventually go down. 2 for 2 trade. Oh, that is the absolute nightmare for Finstag. That Earthshaker, again, paying off big time. Those colossal Echo Slams are going to be very scary.
I mean, that's working out nicely. If you look at the levels right now, they're absolutely even.
Well, Fraggy getting burned down here. This is scary, and now you get the silence onto Fraggy as well. Easy kill.
Yeah.
This is why I was mentioning the Orchid. Armlet is going to do a good amount in keeping him alive if he can toggle it, sure. But if he gets silenced up, he's not going to be able to rage. If he gets caught by the Ember Chains, by Matuberman like that, and Matuberman just keeps chasing.
I think he's going to go for the Midas first, actually.
A Midas, even though they're suffering in the early game, you think? I suppose Gloves of Haste will indicate the Midas, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That's going to be a drum from Matumba.
Yeah, definitely a drum for the Ember Spirit, and from there, I'm thinking Battle Fury into the Daedalus, the same build that we saw before. Equally, let's take a look for Suclis. Suclis is going to be going for the Mass Serpent Wards, and he's going to have that in a small amount of time. Then again, Matuberman not going to die. He is near enough unkillable. Holy hell, Matuberman. He might actually tick down, though. Those are still going for a large amount of damage, and yeah, he survives by 10 HP. That is scarily close right there. Cutting it to an extreme.
I was pretty sure he was dead when he
so did I.
Didn't have the mana for the Remnant. Yeah.
It was very
I guess that was one charge that got him through the other one.
I should think so. Meantime, mid lane I can hear a tether. Rex is getting all his damage stolen, and Valix, well, plus 56 damage right now. We're getting into tower push territory though for VVV. They're starting to snowball. Equally though, we have a Clockwork diving under a tier 1. Not going to be a wise idea, and now Thompson comes in. Going to pay for this with his life. Then again, over the top, Nota gets the kill. A double kill going towards Trixie. Not particularly what you want to give away. 2-for-1 trade in favor of Finstack right there.
Trixie was actually having a really bad early game. And now he's
That could have caught him up
Getting
considerably.
back into it.
Now Fraggy trying to put some damage onto Matuberman, but Matuberman still has his Ever Guard up, so he's going to survive a good amount. And there's the Searing Chains. Are they going to be able to get anything else off the back of this? He's going to be forced to Remnant away, and we have the Searing Chains stolen by the Rubik, but there's not much else that can happen here, and Fraggy's going to be forced back. Did get salved by his teammate though, so that's at least one good thing here. And Matuberman, he's going to be forced to go back home, regen. It will mean he'll pick up his full Drum of Endurance, which is one good thing going his way. But equally, they do need to respect the potential damage coming out of that Lifestealer. But Lifestealer, if he goes for this, or if it goes for this Midas, is that going to be indicative to any specific build, do you think? Because this Lifestealer is the big question mark in my mind for this game.
Not really. I mean, it just says that he's wants greedy. To be a yeah.
It is Mr. PvE, I suppose, and we lose an
goodbye, Sockless.
Yeah. This is going to be most likely a very dead Brewmaster as well. But Jerax could take a fall here. There's going to be a lot of damage coming around. In comes Thompson. Does have that Fisher ready to go. A couple more right clicks would be more than enough. But equally, in comes Valix. Why didn't Matuberman go down for the kill?
I don't know.
I'm guessing Pathing may have glitched out there?
Hard to say.
Very hard to say. I mean, that's one to ask him later. And now, well, Matuberman needs to be very careful. Fraggy coming in from the sidelines and needs the Remnant away. Equally, though, in comes Rex. He didn't manage to get the damage on board. And now comes the Skywrath ult. The Serpent Wards are down as well. Trying to do everything they can to try to pick up a kill here. But that was two ultimates exchanged for nothing.
And Volix gets his mech. If he had that at the start of that fight, it would have been a...
It would have been a turnaround, certainly.
Yeah.
But it's still a very tense game here, and we're about 13 minutes in. Let's take a quick glance at the graph. Finstack only have about a 500 gold lead, if that, and experience is going to be 1,000 in favor of VVV based off.
Yeah, I have to say, this looks good for VVV right now.
I'm inclined to agree. If they can
keep
up this level of control.
They're getting so much on board Matumba and Volix. Even with Volix having a bit of a rough start, this is going well.
Well, they need to maintain the control. If they can keep control of this game, it could end up being a 2-0 in favor of VVV. But I'm never going to count out Finstack. They've shown they can be aggressive. They've shown they can turn things around. But
yeah, they've done a lot of work already this game, so it's not out of reach by any means.
The Lifestealer, he's opted for two parts of the drum instead of going for that Midas. Maybe deciding it's not the wisest thing to go for and go for a greedy lineup.
I figure that's probably the right choice.
Yeah. So off the top of that, he'll probably turn that Grotto Paste into an Armlet and not go for the Orchid.
He's too delayed for the Midas now, but...
equally, though, we do get a pick-off onto the Rubik. Everyone does get galed, though, by Trixie, and I don't think Matuberman is going to have any problems with chasing this.
Yeah, but Fraggy is trying to come up on the backside.
Equally, though, Thompson will just TP away. This is the thing with no bash shot onto Fraggy. There is no way for that Lifestealer to stop
actually...
No, in comes Matuberman, mega kill. Now looking for Fraggy. A couple more right clicks when the Rage goes down and the Searing Chains are up again is going to be the end of this Lifestealer. And all it'll take is one more, and even committing the Mystic Glare for the hell of it. Rexy comes in to try to get a Thunderclap, but there's going to be nothing off the back of that. And well, in my mind, this is going to be the potential tier 1 tower, but Trixie needs to be very careful. He can get picked off here by Matuberman quite easily. Does he have any remnants available? No, he doesn't, and he didn't manage to hit the Venom Scalp. But down comes the Fisher at max range, and that's going to be the end of that. They drop the Poison Nova, and you can see how slow those remnants move with that massive amount of slow up from that Venom Answer.
And Rex is trying to posture, but that's...
Rex is trying to posture, but he can't commit to this. If he commits to this, he's going to get turned around on by Matuberman, and you really don't want to be on the receiving end of that. Matuberman's damage, sure, it's less than 130, but still, the magical damage coming out of a Ember Spirit is always significant. And he's got 1,200 gold in the bank as well. We're going to be looking for, ideally, that Battle Fury coming up at some point soon. We can quite easily pick up the starting components of that right now.
That was supposed to be a one and done, one kill and they TP out. But the fact that Soakless came in and stopped Thompson from...
Fraggy just going to pick apart this clockwork. Then again, a saving Fisher comes in. The cogs are going to drop as well. Does he have a TP? It's on cooldown, unfortunately, but in comes Valix to get to the counter kill here. They managed to bring down the Rubik once more. And They protect the clockwork. Son is still alive. He still has that hookshot available as well. So they could look to pressure off of this. This tier 1, if this falls, it could spiral out of control very quickly towards a tier 2 push. Especially with all of these ultimates still online. The only one not available is Eye of the Storm, and that's up in a few seconds. 2 seconds, in fact.
They're pinging mid tower, and Soklus went and dropped the wards there.
Indeed, but I still think right now VVV are going to be more than happy to trade this mid lane.
Trying to take the bot lane as well. So maybe they need to... I think...
They'll move to defend, but Nota, he'll be the one to push away this top lane. And we'll take a quick look at the net worth, shall we? Net worth-wise, top of the board, Razor and Ember. This is not exactly what Finstack want to be seeing, though.
Yeah, no.
Equally...
How do you slow them down, though, right now?
How do you slow Finstack? How do you slow VVV down?
Yeah.
You need to put pressure on their other towers. They were pushing... Finstack did the right thing. They pushed the mid tower, they pushed the bottom tower, forced TP reactions instead of letting them go for the tier 2. It's a very, very hard one for Finstack to fight into. Sure, they have Rexy and they've got that Primal Split, but there's only so much Primal Split can do. Especially when Matubaman is jumping around like an essential madman.
Yeah. Razor is also getting the BKB, and that's just gonna hit the Finstack lineup so hard.
And now Trixie getting caught out of position once more. He's going to be brought down. The Poison Nova is there. That's going to hit on 4, but there's far too much damage. Down goes the Venomancer as well as Suklamunis. Rexy did try to come in and drop some damage, but equally that's going to be 3 easy kills going the way of the
he got out.
But in the meantime, in comes Fraggy and in comes the Rubik. And they pick up some counter kills for it, 3 for 4 in favor of
Fraggy gets... No, he doesn't get a tower yet.
He'll just wait for the...
Rage,
a Remnant. This Remnant is here for the Rubik. For a minute, I thought that was a Ember Spirits.
That's a very strange looking Ember Spirit.
Yeah. I'm used to seeing red and thinking, yeah, that's the Ember. But no, Rubik did manage to steal the jump, but of course he lost that when he died, so he can't come to this Remnant when he respawns. So that's a tower down in favor as well. So that was effectively 4 kills and a tower... Sorry, 3 kills and a tower versus 4 kills. So a little bit in favor of Finstack. Yeah, back and forth. The back and forth action is
I guess that means he's...
everywhere.
Well, since he's already got the gloves, he's probably going to continue into the armlet.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, Midas getting it this late in the game isn't really a favourable thing. I mean, I can't see it in this game at all. It'll be very, very questionable choice should they do it, since they are behind, at least in my mind they're behind. Gold-wise, they're about 3k behind, so I don't see Midas being the right choice here. Experience-wise, again, they're still behind, but Jerax trying to get what he can. He steals the plasma field, which is going to help, but in comes Matubaman, gets the jump onto Jerax, and Jerax in a very bad way here. If he falls, it's going to be pretty damn severe, but the Ember does get caught in the ward trap for a few seconds, but Valix will clean this up. Double kill for him, and in comes the Primal Split from Rexy, and Trixie is here as well. They'll have more than enough to bring down the Razor, but no, the Ember Spirit is too far away. In comes Zone. The Clockwork is here. He's going to be put in the air, and they're going to go for more here. This could be a little bit greedy, though. If they go and commit too much to this, especially now the cogs are down, it's going to be very hard.
Oh.
If Fraggy gets caught, he'll go down. Hookshot's there to ensure the kill. This is what I was saying. They overcommitted. They went to the high ground. They shouldn't have. They should have maybe been a little more accepting. Get that kill, get out. Don't overcommit for too much.
Yeah, that was...
Especially considering they didn't bring down Matubaman on the Ember
They're
Spirit.
being too impatient. They have to take what they can get and get back out.
Now, patience is a virtue for them in this one. They need
yeah,
to
but
farm
I
up
mean,
a bit more.
at the same time, like, they have to be aggressive, but they have to be calculated aggressive, and that's just
Controlled
reckless
aggression
aggressive
versus reckless.
Yeah,
it's an interesting one because when you think Trixie, you just think mad aggression. You don't think much else. We have a blade mail available for the Clockwork
there's
as well.
so much coming online right now for VVV.
I'm in complete agreement.
Even the Earthshaker isn't long off his blink, and
He's only
there's
about 500 away,
almost a BKB on Valix, almost a Battle Fury on. Actually, he's like 40 golds away. The Battle Fury on the Ember Spirit.
Indeed.
And just getting the blade mail as well.
Well, off the back of this, can Finstack push and take any towers here? I mean, they're trying to pressure this mid one, but it's being held away by Thompson. If they were to rotate up and push this top tier, tier 1, maybe this could be an option here. Do you think they could go for that
This might be
instead?
time for that that complexity smoke gank.
Complexity smoke gank.
Yeah, the one where you're behind and you go for a desperation smoke as a team.
I see. It could be an option here, and
I mean,
they
need to find a good angle for a good pickoff.
Well, they're going to drop the wards and try for this tier 1,
And
but
that's
look at that.
not
That's a
that
double
angle.
chains.
That's not the angle.
They need to get out of it. They need to fall back because in comes the Razor. Going to do good damage to Trixie. They're going to clean up all the wards and deny this tower. This is not what the Finstack wanted.
Yeah, that's a big ultimate committed, and you only effectively lost gold.
Well, the one thing I will bring up, and this reflects back on the draft, when you think of Lifestealer, you generally think of heroes that work with Lifestealer. The Storm Spirit, the Puck. They needed some form of Nake's delivery device. NDD for short. And where is your delivery device in this one?
The Brewmaster is supposed to be it.
The Brewmaster is supposed to be it, but it's being punished too heavily at this point for it to be the Brewmaster.
Well, I mean, he's doing okay on the Brew. The problem is, though, that he needs to be doing way better. And, like, the Brewmaster doesn't have to be the strongest hero in order to deliver the Nakes, but then the Nakes has to have a lot more instead.
Indeed, I would completely agree with that.
Okay, we get a Maelstrom.
On
Fraggy.
Fraggy? Okay.
That's
I suppose that's a good use for the Glove of Haste, and it's going to give him some ability to push, but it doesn't help him out in terms of survivability. It's still going to be a problem when the Ember Spirit gets on top of him. It's not going to deal good damage past the Ember Guard unless he gets very lucky with the procs and being able to burn it down quickly, but it's going to give him some attack speed when he builds it into a Mjolnir. And I can understand that being a reason for wanting it, but having the Maelstrom, which gives him no stats, no survivability in a game where they're effectively behind, it's something that I wonder. We are seeing TP reactions here. They're going to come in for Matuberman, and Matuberman's going to try to Remnant away, but doesn't manage to do so. He's shackled down, and he's going to be burst down. Finally, down goes the Ember Spirit at 710 gold going the way of Fraggy. That's exactly what the Lifestealer needed.
So, you know, if they overcommit,
is that a that's a bloody chicken Remnant? And now we get the Echo Slam on everyone. Down goes the Fisher as well. That's Thompson on a killing spree. A second Echo Slam. That's stolen by Jerax. It's not going to be anywhere near enough, though. The buyback is there from the Ember Spirit as well. They're going to try to focus on Matuberman, but no. Valix, with all that stolen damage from the Lifestealer, is just going to shred everyone. And they're even going to deny another tower. 3 for 1 and a denied tower. That's not what Finstack want either.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been worse, but then again, it couldn't really be any worse because Lifestealer and Brewmaster both take a fall.
Indeed. It's becoming
they needed those to stay alive.
It's becoming a very steep hill to climb, and we'll consult the graphs once again just for a quick look at the stats. 5,000 gold lead for VVV. Not much. Recoverable, sure. But we're starting to get into the point of the game where Snowball, Deathball is a thing. And a 10,000 experience lead, which is even bigger in my mind. That experience lead is going to be the problem for Finstack. You consider Ember Spirit, he's got level 16. Is there any level 16s at all on the side of Finstack? Let's take a quick look. No. The highest level they've got is Lifestealer at level 14. And hell, you look at the poor Shadow Shaman down at level 8.
Yeah, he's
not had a good game.
Not going to do much of anything for the rest of the game.
He's now basically a walking hex and shackles.
He needs to get a Blink Dagger and just blink in and provide the... Actually, that can give you a second delivery device for the Nakes. But
a Blink Dagger on the Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, but that's...
a very squishy delivery device.
Yeah.
Considering you want to be blinking into the middle of everyone.
That only works for single target pickoffs. You blink in, you shackle, and the Nakes jumps out and kills. So.
But in the team fights, you need to use the Brewmaster.
Yeah.
But it's going to be Roshan time here for VendiVC, and this will most likely go the way of Matuberman. Then again, pings go out. The Finstack do know all about this, but I don't think
they can contest this. There's no angle.
Yeah, then again, they're looking for the stun onto Fraggy, and they will find it. Now Jerax is going to go for the telekinesis, but where's the damage? Where's the follow-up? There's the burst coming through from the supports, but Nota still survives. We get the clockwork going deep, going straight onto Jerax, and in comes the Ember, doing huge amounts of damage to everyone. But he's caught in the wards now, and will go down if he's not careful. But that's a triple kill off the Sleight of Fist. Holy hell, now drops the Echo Slam. That's going to clean up that Nakes. Holy hell at that damage. He has the Battle Fury, doesn't he? Yeah, that's where the cleave came from. They were all so close. 3 spirits on top of everyone, plus a Sleight of Fist. Wow.
Well, the Ember's at least out for a while, and that's probably halted the Roshan for a while.
Indeed, that's going to at least delay it for maybe a minute at most, 49 seconds until the Ember's up.
Yeah.
Rexian crew can push a little bit here, but it's still going to be a very dangerous game for them. If they get caught out at all in this mid-game, it could be tier 2s. And if the tier 2s fall, it's going to just give Finstack a big problem in terms of the momentum that VVV will have in the coming into this mid-game to what will be soon the late game. With the 4-star now available for the Clockwork as well, it's going to be even harder to escape him. And if Clockwork gets on top of you, well, it's going to be very problematic.
Dire's middle tower is
Equally
under
though,
attack.
what do you think Finstack can do in the next few minutes to try to gain a foothold?
Well, Rexy's trying to get his Black King Bard, which he's been trying to get for quite a while. That can help do something. The Sanj is up on lifesteal, but that's not gonna really change the course of these fights.
No, it's not.
Rexy's got a point booster, but he's way too far off what he needs for the Aghanims. I don't know. They need to find pickoffs right now. There's no fighting VVV head on right now.
Indeed, and that's going to be an Aegis and Roshan going down towards VVV.
And right now you're not going to have an option. You're going to have to fight VVV head on because they're going
to look to push your towers, otherwise they're going to look to fight you. And the pings go out. They know that they're in this vicinity. Fraggy needs to be careful. Suklamuna equally so, and he's going to be the one to take the forefront of this damage, and will do so, going down to the searing change out of Matubaman.
For all that I said that the Shadow Shaman isn't going to do much this game, losing him in this position, like him and Trixie, that could have maybe tried to split push a tower, but without him, Trixie's not going to do it alone.
Well, Trixie's up there trying to split push, but he's split pushing a lane that doesn't have a tower on it, and Ping's going out onto Jerax.
He's not going to get the tier 3. That's
no, he's certainly not. Ping's go out, they're well aware that Trixie's up there. He's trying to pull attention towards him, but we're looking for a tier 2 quite easily, and we're at potential tier 3 territory here for Vendivida VC.
Structures are fortified.
Nota and crew are currently doing everything they need to be doing in this game.
Middle tower is under attack.
Just this incremental pressure that they're slowly ramping up onto Finstack, it's costing Finstack a hell of a lot, and now we're getting TPs towards this bottom lane, and we're going to look to pressure most likely the bottom tier 2 now. Just keep up the pressure, ramp it up again and again. Don't let Finstack get any space. They punished them to this point. They need to keep this up, and they will have Fraggy down here onto the bot lane as well. He needs to be very careful because he's in the jungle. The jungle is not safe. This guy here is slightly insane in terms of his farm right now, in terms of his playstyle as well, you could argue. But yeah,
he's actually closing in on the Daedalus as well.
They can't stop this, unfortunately.
He needs another 1400 for the Daedalus.
Once
he gets
online,
that,
I don't really want to think about the level of crits coming out of it. It's disgusting. But with the pressure starting to be put onto this bot tier 2.
Oh no.
Oh no.
There's almost an Aghanims on the Razor as well.
Oh
no.
Oh no. Towers are going to start falling. Equally though, we've got Finstack looking to push in on.
There is actually an Aghanims on the Razor. He had the point booster on the courier.
Okay, so we've got full Aghanims coming. We have TP to defend, however, since the full Finstack are looking to start putting some pressure on a tier 3. They lose a tier 2 in the meantime for their aggression here, but can they find anything? They need to find something. If they lose their tier 2 for nothing, it puts Finstack in a very bad position, unfortunately. But it's going to come down to what happens in the next few minutes. It is so important, since Valix now has everything he needs to push. The Daedalus is near enough up for the Ember Spirit. He just needs to pick up the hell. Does he even have it? What's he got on the courier?
He's got
He's
got the money for it, so yeah.
Yeah, he's got the money for it. I was just checking what was on the courier, because if he already had the Demon Edge, that would have been quite a scary scenario to be in.
They're pretty much in luxury territory right now.
Indeed, completely agreed on that one. And they've still got Fraggy trying to desperately farm up the spot lane. He's trying to get a Yasha as well, go for some high movement speed, get the damage there from the Maelstrom.
It feels like it's enough. The item build is all over the place. Like it's Rayscar with the wrong boots, and then Maelstrom, and I don't know. The fact, like, I think he had a good start, and he wanted to go for the Midas, but then they ended up losing a couple kills. They started falling behind, and he realized, oh no, I can't do that anymore, and he's been trying to recover ever since, and it's been a really tough game for him.
I would be in complete agreement with that, and you consider what you generally want from a lifestealer. Well, not being able to catch the Ember Spirit is a big problem, since he can still just jump around as he sees fit. No stuns on the or silences at all available for Fraggy. So
yeah, I mean,
rough.
even if you would silence him,
even if you would silence him at this point in, it's going to be very hard to fight up against.
You don't want to stand there and fight that.
No, you don't. But if Fraggy went for a different item build, hell, if it was an Orchid or if it was a Basher earlier on, that could have paid off. But Sanjin, Maelstrom, and Drum doesn't feel like enough. We both think it doesn't feel like enough. But can Trixie and the others hold it? They're trying to get a full Aghanim Scepter for Trixie, but he's still 1,000 gold away from it. It's incredibly rough, and that's the final tier 2 down now for Finstack. They
get the second Force Staff as well. So that just makes them even worse for the Nakes to catch up with.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
He's just not going to be able to hit anyone almost in the fights.
But with Sanjin Yasharaf, it does give him quite a high movement speed. He's got 441, and he still right-clicks for a fairly large amount of damage. That's near enough 180 damage a right-click. And that's not a small amount, but you consider that up against the Ember Spirit right now. Sure, less movement speed, but, well, 200 odd damage. 225 damage a swing.
Yeah, and just way better ways of delivering that damage.
Indeed, Sleight of Fist being the key one.
Of course, crits and...
more crits.
More
crits.
damage.
Indeed, that's a worryingly high amount of damage on Matuberman. And if he can make use of this and keep cleaving down these creep waves, this could easily be tier 3s on the cards very soon. But how do you stop the Ember Spirit? What can the Finstack do, Sunzu?
They can crash the game and go and ask for a redraft.
Within the bounds of the game and tournament rules?
I've no idea really. You need to somehow catch out the Ember Spirit. You need Matuberman to make a mistake that I haven't seen him making this tournament really.
So you're asking for basically a colossal throw. I see.
It's starting to get into that territory. Like the writing's on the wall here, very much so.
The only way I think they can manage it is if they throw all of their CC into Matuberman, but that's still a tall order, and that means the rest of the team is uncontrolled.
How do you deal with Valix? And
Brewmaster, throw him in the air. That's pretty much all I can come up with.
Yeah, and then you've got the Mystic Flare, and then you've got the Echo Slam, and someone gets caught out by the Clockwork, and it. Ugh.
Well, you can already see the Eye of the Storm doing good damage to this bottom tier 3 tower.
Yeah.
Fraggy and Crew are going to try to rotate to defend it, but again, tall order, very hard. I suppose that's going to help out certainly in terms of defending. I mean, Poison Nova level 3 with the Aghanims, I believe, is what, 121 damage a tip?
I mean, it helps out against the supports in particular, but...
Well, it's still going to do incredibly good damage to the Razor. It's not going to kill him outright like it would some of the supports with a combination of a Gale or a couple of Plague Wars putting the other dots up. It's still formidable damage. And Valix, even he needs to be wary of it. Then again, so does Matuberman, especially so. Matuberman only has 1,500 HP, and a fully upgraded Plague Nova with the Aghanims, what's that? That's 108 damage a tick for, what, 20 seconds, I want to say? 18 seconds, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
16 seconds scepter duration, so that's over 1,600 damage.
I think the big question for Finstack right now is how long is this Roshan timer gonna be?
Well, it is one of the longest respawns possible.
235. Yeah. It's almost the maximum.
Almost the maximum possible time, and Fraggy's going to be forced to TP out. He doesn't even want to be caught here. He needs to just keep getting farm.
That's, by my account, at least 3 minutes that they have. 3 minutes to figure something out.
Indeed. But 3 minutes to figure things out. They're trying to get, I believe, to be a Scythe of Vice up for Brewmaster. That's going to help, but it's still far too far away in terms of gold. They need 2,100-ish gold to get that Scythe of Vice up online.
Yeah. It's not going to come in time.
And you look at this more
And even if it came, like it's gonna lock down the, like, okay, first you have to get close enough to actually utilize it, and at that point, you're already committing the brew, and he's in danger of dying at that point.
Indeed. And
so you need to be able to utilize it on the Ember Spirit without losing your brew.
Oh.
Rexy needs to come up with something amazing.
You mentioned this yesterday, and this was something that I thought was out of the question. Again, it's a huge gold differential, and he's stealing damage from an illusion right now, which, well, that's a very dead illusion, but that's equally a very high damage Razor. You mentioned something to me yesterday, and it's still, again, very far off in terms of gold, but Abyssal Blade would have been another option we could have seen on the brew. You mentioned this to me with it was a S4 style. Yeah, they would pick up the Abyssal Blade on a Brewmaster, where he would just come in, Thunderclap, drop the Abyssal Blade, and then split, which does lock down the Ember Spirit for a good 2 seconds, and that gives time for the other supports to come in and try to lock down the
Yeah, that could have maybe done something, but
it's still a very hard decision to make.
It does effectively a lot of the same things as just having the Scythe of Ice for this game.
Very true, very true. And the Scythe of Ice will give him a little bit more in terms of survivability to boot, in terms of strength and int. But now we get the line drawn with the smoke. This could be that complexity smoke you were looking for, near enough. And they're going to try to hook in around the Radiant, the Dire Ancients, and go for the Roshan.
There's just about...
We do get the big Echo Slam coming down. Only clips on a few of them, though. But Natsukamuna is taking far too much damage to get Jerak shot in on, and he's most likely going to go down here to the clockwork. He does throw him out and buy himself some time, but that's Valix with a double kill and a 3-man white for Finstack right there. That's not particularly the position they want to be in. But look how much damage Thompson is taking. He's going to be mech'd up and TP'd out. Is he going to die in the fountain? Because we saw this yesterday. He's good.
He's good. I was going to say they had about 2,000, and nope.
No, definitely not. That's going to be very rough. Now you've got a Refresher Eye of the Storm. We said towers would melt before. They're not even towers anymore. They're just rubble.
Yeah.
But at this point this is going to be another Aegis going the way of most likely Matuberman. He's got 4,000 gold in his pocket as well. What item are we going to see on him next?
Matuberman? Well, if he was a real man, he would have taken that Aegis, he would have sold that TP, and he would have started up the victory lap.
No rapiers, there's not going to be a rapier.
Come on, that's like the best chance we have at making this a interesting long game right now.
You want a rapier throw?
Yeah.
I see. Why am I not surprised?
I don't want a rapier throw. I think Finstack wants one.
I see. We'll just have to accept this and move on.
Nah, I mean he's too good of a player. Even if he were to pick up a rapier, he'd start playing it a lot more safer. Just
well, jokes aside,
sleight
a
of
rapier
fisting
with sleight of fist is going to be absurd, and then you mix in the Daedalus potential.
I mean, there's literally he'd just sleight of fist once, and the supports are dead.
Pretty much. And Fraggy's going to try to make a turnaround here. Does good damage. He does have a basher now, so this could potentially be a kill. But no, we'll Remnant away. Fraggy has the Skull Basher, so he can put out the damage.
Yeah.
But is it too late in this game as we get the Refresher Eye of the Storm just ticking down at the racks? And Clockwork does hook in, but being caught in the base now, Valix being the one to try to chase down the Pandas. And if the Earth Panda dies now, that's going to be a very dead Brewmaster, and that is a very dead Brewmaster. But even with the wards down, Echo Slam dropped onto the supports, decimated by that. And now, hell, even with the Mystic Flare, that's going to clean up another. We get buybacks across the board. The Lifestealer cannot stand this. We get Brewmaster back in the fight, but that's going to be Aegis. Still intact, I actually believe.
Yeah.
Did they use the Aegis? No, they didn't.
No.
It's going to be a full set of racks.
It's still there.
This is pretty much everything that VVV could have wanted, and now they're going to go for another set. I don't think at this point Finstack can stop this. They're going to lose at least 2 full sets of racks, maybe even 3. They do have the Venomous Scale and the Poison Nova combo from Trixie, so that's one thing they could have in their favor. But still, it's going to be
I think Matumaman doesn't want any more items. He's done. He's He's just
Radiant's middle barracks.
he's saving for.
Oh,
Radiant's middle barracks.
that was one sleight of fist in a searing chain. That nearly one shot
Oh.
the shadow chain.
Well, when you're level 9,
Dire's top tower is
when
True.
you're level 9
When you're
at
level
41
9.
minutes, you're not having a good game, and
As we said, the Shadow Shaman can fall off excessively quickly, and they will manage to bring down the Razor here. But
Radiant's top tower
Aegis is going to be popped, and Matubaman is still going nuts, bringing down support after support. And this will most likely be Mega Quick, but then again, in comes Trixie with that Poison Over. That's going to do some good damage to the support. Nota is taking a significantly high amount of damage and will get brought down for this. And Thompson equally will go down to the dot. That's 603 more gold. And Fraggy can kill the Razor. So they have held their last racks, and Matubaman, he needs to get out of there. Gets force-staffed out by the Clockwork, trying to buy him time, but now with the open wounds, there's no way, and down goes the Ember Spirit, but in comes Sohn. He goes on to the Primal Split Brewmaster. I don't see this as a very good choice here, and that's going to be a full 5-man wipe and a triple kill for Fraggy. They hold their final racks, but at what cost? They've lost 2 full lanes of racks and a tier 3. It's going to be a very tall order from this point in, and you can see what they're thinking. They want to go straight for the base, but what buybacks do we have? Matubaman has his. We've got a buyback on the Razor. All of the supports, everyone on the Dire side can buy back.
he's just going for the boring little extra Battle Fury.
You're disappointed, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh well, at least someone is sane here. If he went for a rapier, I would honestly have been very surprised. I have a feeling you had been
Dire's
whispering in
top
his
tower
ear.
is under attack.
On that note, the Serpent Wards will drop, and they're going to try to bring down the tier 3 on this top lane, but who's holding the base in the meantime? Jerax is trying his best to deal with these creep waves, but even he is having difficulty, but
Dire's top tower
they're going to go for a Rax. If they can get the set of Rax, it's going to be nice. The active time drops on 2. Fraggy will potentially go down to 1 more right click out of that Earthshaker with that enchant up, but now Sohn does get hexed up, and the Ember Spirit even trying to do good damage. The hookshot will miss, unfortunately, and now you've got Matubaman trying to kill off all of these wards. They will hold their melee racks, and that's going to start to regen up. The 2 Venom wards are going to just
kill them.
That's going to be enough of that, I think. A small flurry back from the Fin stack, but still
A bit of enchant totem to the face and goodbye ward.
Very true.
Oh!
Uh,
Daedalus on the Earthshaker.
Daedalus on the... Crit Shaker is active, it seems. Thompson wants to just drop
a bit of
1,000
enchant
damage
totem
crit.
to the face.
Yeah, I suppose we'll go with it.
I gotta say, he's just such a cuddly hero.
Well, we do have the Scythe of Ice now available for the Brewmaster, but still, this is 43 minutes in. This is a very late catch, and they're going to go for Thompson. A couple of right clicks could be more than enough. They get the hook shot. It's going to catch on. Where did the hook shot go? In the meantime, we've got Mystic Flare dropping on Rexian. He will go down. There's no chance of that, and Sohn is in the base.
He doesn't have a buyback either. And
Refresher Eye of the Storm working on these racks. This is going to be mega creeps, but all honesty. And Trixie trying to go for objective gaming, guys. They're just going to go for Trixie instead. And little bit of a
this is
concern
kill
right
gaming.
there. This is kill gaming, but that's going to be mega creeps. And GG well played is called. Veni Vidi Vici are your champions here at the Logitech Dota 2 tournament at the Assembly, and we have had one hell of a tournament, haven't we, Sun Tzu?
it was good fun.
It was good fun, certainly good fun. And
Yeah. Every single one of you go tell Matumba to keep playing. That guy's gonna go far.
indeed,
you
he
know.
is.
Jesus.
But on that note, off the back of that game, Sun Tzu, I think we have some trophies to give away.
I think so. I hope they know to come over here. I think at least Nota's team knows to come over here. So.
I should think so. But if not, we can sort that out. I'm sure the admins can hear us, and they're going to bring over the winning team.
Oh.
On that note, overall, how do you think the tournament went, Sun Tzu?
It's been fun.
It has been fun. It has been good fun.
Yeah, like there's been a lot of action, a lot of some throws, but throws lead to fun games.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
I can certainly agree
there's
with
some
that.
meepo.
We did have the Meepo, and that is one thing that I can appreciate.
Honestly,
a good Meepo game.
yeah, a good Meepo game. When you actually see the true strength of that hero, it's worth it. Because I don't know. I feel like it's for all that it's starting to see play in competitive Dota, it's still underutilized. I think there's still a lot more that you can do with that hero.
Well, on that note, I think we'll take a break for a moment or two, and then we will bring the teams over for the trophies.
And it kind of snowballed. Well, I think we were out of luck also, but we won as a team. But Matumba obviously played really good Meepo and Ember both games.
Well, you could see it in the graphs for a large chunk of the both games. It was very even. It was probably the most even games we've had on the tournament so far, and it was one hell of a tournament to watch, and especially with you guys in the final. Now, one thing I do want to ask before I throw to Sunzu, Rexy, what was the reaction of you and your team when you guys saw the Meepo pick?
Well, we couldn't really react anyway because it was the last pick, but I don't know, we couldn't do shit pretty much.
I can understand that. I can certainly understand that.
Were you aware that Matumbaman plays a Meepo?
Yeah, actually, some other teams banned him, like Seppo banned it against them, but we didn't really actually think about it, so it was our bad, pretty much.
Last time around, you guys didn't practice all that much going into this. This time around, you did better at assembly. But you played a bit more. Were you hoping that it would have been enough to carry you to first place?
Yeah, of course. Like, we played in the Gigabyte tournament, and then we played in the Suomen Dota Liga. And we got the practice from there, but I don't know, I think our both drafts in the finals were just bit off. Like, we shouldn't give the Razor to enemies, and like, we have won every game where we had a Doom or enemies had it, but then we decided to ban it, and I don't know.
I believe that ban was probably targeted at Sonya, right?
No, because like I said, we have won every game against Doom. I don't think like people played that well.
Okay, fair enough. Now you said also about the Razor. The last game, when you've already given away the Razor, when there's the Ember Spirit there, that Lifestealer pick, it has to be a bit questionable. And I know you said that it probably wasn't the right choice. What if you could go and redo that draft? What would have been your pick for a carry there?
Actually, not quite sure what we would have picked, but I wouldn't have given the Razor to enemies in the first place, because that's like one of the only heroes that really deals up with the Panda in the middle, like you probably saw. Usually you get like 8-minute Blink Dagger, but now I got like 10 minutes Blink Dagger. And anyway, it wasn't the main problem that Matumbaman just got away really low HP a couple times in top lane, and just if you get behind early game in this current patch, you're just pretty much gonna lose the game.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I think we've got some prizes again here.
Hi, we have some trophies for you guys, as well as I believe we also have some certificates for you guys as well from the staff at the assembly here. But other than that, the one last thing I wanted to say to you guys is well played. It's been a pleasure to watch you guys, and it's been a pleasure to cast you guys. So I hope to see you guys in the future.
Oh, probably.
So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be all from us here at the Assembly. We hope you've enjoyed the LAN, and we hope you've enjoyed the tournament. So on that note, we'll see you guys next time. Assembly Winter.
See ya.